Yeah, most people just think that the answer to more money is more work, and typically if you're not set up for that, it's not.
8th Contractor Coalition Summit.
So I heard.
Yeah, I know, right?
Impressive.
Big deal.
I think it's my fourth that I've attended.
Yep.
Third being a host.
Yeah. What something I've really appreciated about our calls leading up into this one is everyone wants to provide value for the people that attend. And I like the way you've sort of looked at it. And I know you've done this a lot with Modern Craftsman and your own branding, is how do we better convey to people that haven't been to a Contractor Coalition Summit before about problems we want to help them solve and help elevate their brand? How do we do a better job of communicating that to the audience at large?
From a marketing perspective, it's just giving them insight to what we're actually doing here. Like there's camaraderie and everything else revolving this. There's a social aspect to it. And I think that we've shown a lot of that, the network that it creates and reaffirms. But I think that there's a lot of insight into our processes and our systems and our business that at the end of the day, the main objective is to solve a problem, make you more money, or get time back in your life. And I don't think that we do an amazing job of communicating and advocating that. I think partially, how much do we release where it's giving away too much of what we're doing here? Like we have to protect some of that for the people who are investing in this in the first place, but also giving enough where it's like, okay, yeah, that's going to solve this problem that I'm experiencing or have experienced, or I just don't know how to tackle right now. So I think it's giving people enough insight as to what we're doing here so that they understand, yeah, there's a social aspect to this and you're going to develop a network of business peers, but also there's a lot of insight and information that's going to help you make more money, preserve your mental well-being, gain you time back with your family, and just run a viable, sustainable, profitable business.
Are there any stories that you've heard in the last 2 or 3 coalitions, or even this one, where someone has communicated either why they came or a problem that they were hoping to have solved while they're here?
I think from my perspective, it's generally, and what I've owned the past couple of years is really that I'm a self-performing contractor, right? I'm not a builder. I wouldn't consider, like technically I'm a general contractor, but I'm more of a self-performing contractor. So a lot of the difficulties and the struggles that I hear are people balancing their time. Where it's like, are you wearing a tool belt? Are you managing people on jobs? And how are you getting paid for all the time that you're not possibly swinging a hammer? So I think most of the stories that I've heard, and even a conversation that I had a guy and his wife last night, where it's like, I want to grow my business because I feel I need to grow my business. I need to create more revenue and gross more money every year, but they don't understand that they're just compounding their problems because their business wasn't profitable from the outset. So like if you don't think that if you're not profitable with one person or 2 people, why do you think going to 4 or 6 is going to make more sense? Like typically it's just going to make things worse, or is that exacerbate any issues that you're having? So I think that most of the stories that I hear that people are coming to me to gain my insight and perspective are just on that. Like, how are you balancing your time? How are you remaining in the field? How are you charging for hours that you're not putting productive, like equitable work in place? I think that that's what most people struggle with while they remain small or while they're self-performing contractors.
It's like that adage, if you have holes in your ship, going faster is not going to help you.
Correct, yeah. But like, yeah. I get it. I did the same thing. Luckily, I realized quickly that wasn't the answer for me. And I also at that point was like at a juncture in my life where I needed to be able to make more money. So I didn't really have much of a choice but to figure out how can I make more money doing less, and structured my business. And I had like established the brand to support that almost unknowingly beforehand. So it was easy to fall back on what I'm doing now. But I think that, yeah, most people either see others growing, are chasing the dragon, trying to keep up with the Joneses, or just think that the answer to more money is more work. And typically, if you're not set up for that, it's not.
one thing that came out and has continued to come out is wanting to make Contractor Coalition Summit approachable. And I think when people are here, of course, they realize very quickly, we're all humans, we all run businesses, we have families, we're juggling all of it, from Brad, Nick, yourself, Morgan, and now me as well. Like, no one has every single facet of their life figured out. Or if you do, it's one moment in time. And so it's like, it's meant to be aspirational, and how do we all help each other be better versions of ourselves personally, as well as professionally, to live a better life and to have more joy and stability and whatever your goal is for yourself. And sometimes it's discovering it.
Yeah.
I think what I love about seeing people come with kind of a little sparkle in their eye, or like hearing these conversations that are happening, I love that they came here maybe for one thing, but they get exposed to so many other things that it sort of lifts their head up, because we all sort of need that time out sometimes where we're like down in the trenches and our head is down and like looking up. I find that if we can inspire people to aim higher, to think differently, and because I think the hardest person to sell is yourself. It's a person in the mirror.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned about profitability, but if you're going to raise your rates or become more streamlined or fix those issues, if you don't believe you're worth it, if you don't believe your own message, why would a client? And Doug had mentioned the common thread that he's seen through all of the coalitions is confidence.
Yeah.
The people that come and when they leave, the biggest metric is how their confidence has changed.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with somebody last night, and what the biggest difference between what he's doing at 25 years old and what I'm doing at 39. And I think that there's a ton of opportunities to gain confidence being here if you open yourself up to that, if you become vulnerable and you're open and honest and transparent with yourself, with your business, with your numbers, and realize that everyone here is trying to figure it out. Like, we have a lot of things dialed, but not 100%. And I think coming and realizing, walking a job yesterday and seeing like, I follow these people for forever and this job is not 100% flawless, right? The work that I do rivals this or is better than this. I just have access to a different market, and like gaining the confidence through perspective. Like, I'm no different than these people. I'm no different as a small self-performing contractor to somebody like Brad. It just comes down to lifestyle, what your needs are and what you want. And I think that if you are open and honest with yourself and you're doing what you want to do because it's actually what drives you, I think that it can be an opportunity to gain a lot of confidence throughout this experience for yourself and for your business. But you can't come here and pretend to be somebody that you're not, right? You have to drop everything, expose all assets or everything about your business, and come to this with like an open mind. And I think that once you do that and you don't come in here with a ton of bravado and pretend that you're somebody that you're not, I think that you're going to realize that everyone in the room is struggling with a lot of the same things, has a similar experience in the industry to you, and it's challenging day in and day out. And you realize that like Brad's no different than somebody who just started their company. A lot of times it's just more zeros on the end of the contract, right? But it's still a lot of the same principles and issues that we run into. So I think just realizing that you're learning, you're getting better, you're on the path to where you want to be, and surrounding yourself with people and realizing that they're human too, they screw up, they make mistakes, can definitely help raise and boost your confidence and your self-esteem.
Last night we tried something for the first time in the spirit of what you're talking about, where we had an open mic, and we didn't record it because we wanted people to feel free. You and I are used to being mic'd up all the time. Sending AI notes to our clients is just what we do. And what did you make of people that opening night of like sharing like a really difficult experience?
I mean, to preface that, the idea was that, to me, the value of this experience is again, coming into it just being yourself and being honest and being vulnerable and not trying to hide anything. It's like if I'm gonna go to a therapist, right, and I tell them what they want to hear, it's not doing me any good. Like, I have to go there and be open and honest and truthful. And I think that was the goal with that exercise that we did last night was to break down the barriers and allow people to be open and realize that there's no judgment and that people are here to help by telling experiences or life lessons that have been a struggle for you, or that was just a terrible experience that you learned a ton from, that was really difficult for you to navigate. So I know that what we've done through Modern Craftsman, and as Nick and I have shared these experiences, has been really helpful to other people. So I think others weren't aware of how helpful it can be to get that off their chest publicly. And then also just like, hey, my story's not so bad now that I've heard this relative to what's going on. Or it's the same exact thing as mine. It's just you live in a different part of the country. And I think that it was a really great opportunity for people to just come in and create those relationships where it's like, I don't feel judged. I just told you like some of my deepest, darkest secrets. And I think it gets the ball rolling for a really great, unique, authentic experience, instead of coming in trying to hide who you are, or I want to compete with everyone who's here. I want to feel that I belong. So I think it was a really great exercise to get people to break down barriers and just be themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate it. I didn't know how people would do it.
I thought people were Morgan said she was crying.
She was.
So I was like, at some point, I'm like, I don't know if I want to know all this right now. This
Day
is
one.
a bit much.
It was, you know what's funny? You're going to hate this analogy. Well, actually, you might really like it. So I had heard this story about James Cameron when he filmed Titanic.
Yeah.
So have I told you the story before?
I think you have, but go ahead.
That's only the second time.
I don't recall all
the details.
of it.
So they
No,
knew
you did tell me the story.
I did,
Go ahead,
yeah. So
though,
the whole movie was going to be predicated on this. It's amazing that I've already told you this story. And it was that he was going to have Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet do the sex scene in Titanic on the first shot.
Yeah.
And if the chemistry wasn't right, the movie wouldn't work. And I actually did think about that, about last night's deal, just from the standpoint of like, the sooner we can get to be real and to see if the emotional connections are accelerate it for people.
Yeah.
Like, we just want real connections. And to your point, like, go to a doctor and tell them what they want to hear. Like, the doctor knows.
Sure.
Like, if you're morbidly obese and have type 2 diabetes, do you think if you tell the guy, all you eat is salads, he's going to believe you? Mm-hmm. Like, no. Like, be real. Like, they can't help you unless you're real. It's no different than our clients. We need to know the budget. We used to, at least for my career, I used to dance around the budget thing for a while until you feel it out a little bit. Hopefully they'll tell you. Now it's like my first 15-minute phone call. I want to know really quick, out of respect for each other's time, are we a good fit for each other?
Yeah.
And so I think, even like from a margin standpoint, hearing when I first came to Nashville 3.5 years ago, I remember Brad saying like, we charge this in Arizona. And I'm like, well, I don't build $5, $10, $20 million house.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that, or I can't do what Nick does. I'm not on their level. But here's the thing. Everyone says, oh, my market, you can't do that. My market, no.
No, you can.
Every market you can.
For sure.
And so then I went back and I said, what's the worst that can happen? They're going to say no. So let's do it. But again, the hardest person to convince was the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
And then since I've taken those steps and modeled some of my behavior and modeled some of my business practices after people that are here, including some of the guests and the attendees, right?
Yeah.
Like Nick was talking about it earlier, that he keeps on evolving, and having to prepare keeps him on the razor edge of his business. But there's so many ideas in the room. There are serious operators that show up. This isn't, I love that you have people that are, we have some people that are only a year or two into their business, and we have some people that have been in business for 40, 50 years. That is a huge testament to not only them, but also the fact that that the Contractor Coalition Summit is approachable to everyone.
Yeah, and it's applicable to everyone, regardless. And it does come down to confidence and feeling that you are worthy of the systems and processes that other people are using. And that's something that, like, the imposter syndrome that I felt for years, where it's like, all of these companies I feel are warranted for charging what they charge because they're this massive business, or they have all of this catalog of work. They've been in business for so long. And yeah, that's what they do. So if somebody wants that, I will never be hired in their place. but there's things that I do different that are really great that people would come and hire me for, and that's what I need to, like, I'm never gonna change that I don't have a dozen people working for me unless I do that, right? Or I'm never gonna change that I don't have 50 years experience building homes, but there's things that I do well, and there's things that I can control that I can build my business and shape my confidence around that are gonna make selling so much easier. I think also, like, coming and networking here is so much different than a typical networking event where it's like, honestly, my worst nightmare. Just like the bullshit, the small talk. Hey, where are you from? What do you do for work? How many people you have work for you? You have kids? Like, to me, there's just not much value there. And coming here and getting to meet people and being honest, being transparent, being vulnerable with them creates a really unique user experience that there's a ton of value and I can appreciate and I can actually engage with, because I don't want to go spend a weekend somewhere where we're just going to bullshit and small talk and network. Like, I want to actually have a valuable conversation with people, and I can get behind that. And I think that's what's so amazing about this and it being a small group of people, is that you really get to know people and they're more than willing to share whatever information they have with you and what you can take from that and apply to your business. Do as you want to with that, but like, it's just such a great opportunity for networking on a much greater level than like, well, now I have this person's business card. Like, it's so much more than that, which is really great.
I mean, I think you and I have 100% alignment on that, which is like, even like in our respective podcasts, like, I would just, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I found now in like year 3 that I just want to have deep, meaningful, authentic conversations, because not only I'm interested in it on a way deeper level, but obviously the audience is too, and like being respectful of everyone that's giving their time. If someone's going to give you an hour of their time, let's say in a podcast setting, like, you'd like it to be valuable. And like, it can be multiple things. It can be valuable, it can be entertaining, it can be humor, it can cross all kinds of different thresholds, but at the end of the day, it has to be authentic and real. And I think, I don't like the word networking. I wish I knew if there was another word for it, because networking has the traditional connotations of, here's my business card. Hey, it's requiring you now to do a bunch of work on your end to make, it's a bad transaction. I give you my card, you give me my card, we both hope our businesses increase. At the end of the day, you either chuck the card or you don't do it, because it takes effort. But when you have a real present conversation, totally different.
Absolutely.
And now you are genuinely curious. And wouldn't you rather go to an event and have 4 or 5 people that you go deep with? No one is gonna have 35 relationships or 45 relationships or 60 relationships. It's not possible. But could you have 5 or 6 really good ones that like move the needle for your business, for yourself? I think so.
Yeah, I think this gives you an opportunity to do that as well, more so than anything else. I mean, that's one of the struggles even with the podcast platform, right? You have an hour with somebody and they have a program and they have needs that they want met by investing their time in you, and it's like, I want to get past that and actually have a conversation with you, and I don't want this just to be a pitch for who you are, and I don't want you to say all the right things. Like, that's not what you need to do, and I think that's what this event is about. Like, you don't have to come here and feel that you have to say all the right things and do all the right things. If that was the case, you don't need to come here. Like, there's no reason to be here. If you already know everything and you have all the answers, why are you coming here? You're wasting your money. Right. I think it's to come here with an open mind and look for help and be willing to be fully transparent with yourself and with the people around you and what you're struggling with. And that's when you're gonna actually get a return on the experience and on the investment.
What do you find most valuable for you personally as Tyler Grace? Like, as a host and as a person, what do you get out of these events?
Helping people, and I think perspective that what I'm doing is what's right for me. My business is very much different than many people's business that are here, that are speaking here, that are involved with this, and just being confident enough in myself and understanding that what I'm doing is right for me, and hearing what other people's experiences are and why they're doing it. And some of the misalignment there is reassurance of that I'm doing the right thing for me. and understanding also that what a lot of the bigger companies are doing and the problems that they're solving for people can apply to my business as well. Like these things, these principles, these systems are not reserved for the top 5%. And I think that at times people struggle with what Brad and Nick are doing because, like you said, that's just not applicable to my market. That's unrealistic. But then you have people like myself, people like Morgan, people like you, where you're in a Midwest market, right? I'm in like a smaller remodel market, and there's still systems that I can implement, adopt, and integrate into my business that work for me that these like larger builders are using. That's really refreshing. And again, like finding ways to solve those problems that I experience, whether it's getting paid for my time, whether it's having more free time, whether it's capturing every single hour. Bigger companies have figured that out because they have people in place to do that. I don't have people in place to do that, but I can find ways to implement that into my business that I can save myself the time. I can get paid for every hour that I work. I don't have to work nights and weekends. So that's really, really rewarding to be able to adopt those principles, implement them in my business successfully, and kind of rewrite the script of what it's like to be a self-performing contractor.
Looking down the road, we had a meeting yesterday where we don't get together. I mean, we get together twice a year, of course, for the contractor, but to like have time, because we have responsibilities as hosts, we want to make sure we're present for people that, you know, have invested money in themselves and then us to provide value. So we have to be present for them in a different way sometimes. Having a couple hours where we got to do some planning and talk about like what do we want Contractor Coalition Summit to be, not only now and going forward. If we were to look down the road further, I don't know if you've had enough time to think about it, but maybe just off the cuff, like what would you hope it could evolve to in like 3 years, 5 years from now? What are some aspirational things that you'd like to see happen?
I don't think that it's that different from what it is today. I think that it's just putting the systems in place to make it a much easier transaction for everyone, like hosts included, but also guests, right? Where it's like, this is something that's super attainable. This is within our reach. We understand all the deliverables. Like this is a very easy and seamless process from like conception of the idea, maybe we'll go to this event, through going to the event, through follow-up, plus all of the documents and information that we've provided to them, to create this like one seamless experience with follow-up and action items after the fact would be really exciting. Continuing to do it in really cool cities and places where it's serving as an educational experience, but also like, hey, this is going to be a fun few days away where you're going to get to meet new people and experience just life that you're not typically used to, where you can get away from work, like you said, pull your head out of the sandbox and realize that there's more to what we're doing than what my head has been stuck in for the past 6 months, 18 months, whatever it may be. So I think it's just creating a more refined system, not only for ourselves, but for the people who are attending these events, and just creating even more value for the price tag of admission, I think would be really cool, right? Where it's like, this thing is absolutely dialed, all the content, all of the marketing that they're getting, all of the resources that they're getting afterwards, like having that all be CCS related and really refined, rather than all the individual parts right now coming together, right? Where it's like, this is Ennis Builders, this is Mark Williams, this is Morgan, Brad, but no, this is all CCS, right? This is like one big synergistic experience, which would be really cool for me.
Yeah, you mentioned something in your last presentation about brand, and you said your recommendation is hire professional.
Yeah.
I think we need to hire professional.
I agree. Right? That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Like we're all consumed in life. We're all consumed in business. Like every one of us has children. Every one of us owns a business. Every one of us has supplemental ventures aside from this and our normal careers. Like, we have a lot going on. How do we create an event that is single-handedly CCS and not all of us, right? Because I think, again, like I said, synergistically, like, I want it to be cumulatively greater than the sum of all the individual parts. And I think that, like, that's where we'll really hit the ball out of the park, where it's not just these 5-6 people coming together, but it's those 5-6 people coming together creating this experience that's way more than those 5 individual parts.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that's really interesting to me is all of our personalities, businesses, like, we kind of represent, I don't know, have you ever done the DISC assessments before? Mm-mm. Like, it's like the red, yellow, green, and blue, different attributes, whatever. Yeah. I would suspect all of us are pretty unique and pretty different, but we all probably have 20% of like another person. Sure. And so it's sort of, I bet you if we were to poll our group, we probably represent a full color wheel.
And I think that that's necessary
100%.
For success.
I think it's true of all businesses too.
For sure.
Like your small business too.
Yeah. And I think from a consumer perspective, to be able to have that overlap and to be able to tap into all of the resources, experience, and knowledge, if we all just did the same thing, it's like, well, why do you have 5 people who all do the same thing? And I think even from the podcast perspective, that's why there's so much value there, because it's 2 completely opposite business models. And there's a lot that we agree on. There's things that we don't agree on, but you're just getting so much more perspective. So like, I couldn't see it as any better than what it is, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but we're all very different. I think that there's a ton of value in this entire experience based on that alone.
I think it's interesting. I don't know if you do this just kind of anecdotally, but I like to ask people how they came here. Yeah. And it's kind of fun. Like, oh, been a long time. One guy today was like super proud. He's like, last night he goes, I'm OG Modern Craftsman, like back from day one. I'm like, and you get that a lot, which is amazing because the Modern Craftsman has some deep penetration. And then I've met people who are like, what's the Modern Craftsman? Oh, yeah, and so, but it's just really funny, like how people get into it. And there's really no judgment or observation. It's more like Morgan just told me I had to come. Great. Yeah. I was joking that my path here was my wife told me to come. Yeah. I didn't know who Brad, Morgan, and Nick were.
She regret that?
We'll have to do a separate interview. Maybe I'll have you interview her. That would, it's actually funny. I don't know. I'll ask her when I get home.
Yeah, she hates us.
That's actually really funny. I mean, I did try the idea. I actually think it'd be really fun if we all interviewed each other's wives. Oh, yeah. Chill's trying to make that work. I got a bunch of goose eggs on responses, but
I think the problem is that you tried to interview one specific wife that didn't work out.
I'll keep going.
Your tail went between your legs.
Just got ghosted. But I got derailed on my own question, which is not unusual for this one. Just the people's path. But 3 people I talked to last night, their wives told them to come. And I just thought it was really interesting. Like, the people that know us best are often our spouses or our family, and people that know that entrepreneurship is lonely and all these different things. And they're like, hey, there's a group of people here that seem very open and I think you should go because I think you would benefit from that. I love hearing that people are so open. And you know what you're describing about people coming with their guards down and open mind. Honestly, I haven't met anyone in the 8 years I've been coming that has that attitude. And I was telling Morgan, because I give her credit for the term, vibe attracts your tribe, like people kind of already seem to self-filter. So when they come, it's like, it's no wonder that people are such brand ambassadors for Contractor Coalition Summit from their experience, because they're all coming with the right makeup. Mm-hmm. And then when they leave, they're armed with that confidence, but then they're also just kind of like, they've got a different vision for themselves and their company. Yeah. And it's like wildfire in terms.
It would be such a disservice to them and to everyone else if you were to come and pretend to be somebody that you're not, or with your guard up, right? Like, it wouldn't work out. And I'm surprised at the amount of people who come where it's like, I don't know if I would have the confidence to come if I were you. Just not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but like me personally, I'm so proud of the people who get out of their comfort zone and come and do this and are open and honest, because I don't know if I was 25, if I would do that, right? Like at 39, it's very easy to say, yeah, just come and show up. But it's a really difficult thing. Like there's a financial investment. You have to leave your family. You have to be open and honest. You're going to probably receive a lot of constructive criticism in like a very kind way, but it can be very humbling. And to be surrounded by people that by general consensus are relatively successful, like at 25, I was hiding behind my own shadow, like let alone surrounding myself with people who are highly successful and very involved with the industry. And some people show up and I'm like, I absolutely applaud you for being here, because I don't know if I would have the courage to do that in your position. And like, they should be a testament to more people like that. I think I would have progressed much further in my life and career had I been able to look in the mirror and accept who I was, instead of somewhat trying to hide that with some sort of facade for whatever reason, whatever insecurities I had, which I think is really, really great to see those people and to connect with them and just see how grateful they are for the help and for the experience.
I 100% agree. You could also have another set of people that, and this was my set, which was, I thought, why would a little builder in Minnesota need to be involved with national stuff, or like the idea of like traveling for work, when I'm like, well, I build homes. I'm a home builder. I do remodeling. I do like a 40-mile radius around Minneapolis. Like, why am I going to Nashville? Like it didn't even dawn. And I'm a very, as you know, optimistic vision, big idea guy. And like, it didn't even dawn on me. And I was like, wow, I had such a small view of what I could be, what builders could be. And so it's like now, like, man, if I was that positive and missed it, honestly, I just want to tell everybody. Correct. Like this could appeal to, I don't care where you are on the spectrum, like you could gain some major things that would help your life.
Yeah, and I think for me, that's the pull, right, where, and I think the past few years, I've really adopted owning just being a self-performing contractor, that's what makes me happy, and that like, this is an intentional decision, this is what I want to do. There's so many people out there doing what I'm doing who are struggling to make ends meet or any money at all. And it's so hard to get them to a place where they can really utilize this or be able to bake this into their cost of business. And it's like, how can we get more people there that aren't doing $10 million worth of work a year? Because I feel like they would benefit from this so much. So like you asked me earlier, what are goals for this event? And one goal is to be able to bring in like a more diverse audience of people that do tons of different work, where it's like, yeah, this was an investment, but 100% worth it, and we'd spend it 10 times over. Instead of this being reserved for like top tier national type builders, like, it's a really great event for whoever you are, but making it more attainable for a lot of people would be something that I would love to do, like we discussed through scholarships or whatever else. I think it's a really great opportunity. And that's who I connect with from a business perspective. So I think it'd be really great to have more opportunity for people like that here.
There was a gentleman last night that shared a story that was really aspirational, very much in keeping with what you had just shared, where he went through one of the most difficult experiences in his career, sued, paid a large sum of money. He said he had about $8,000 or $10,000 in his bank account. Like, that's it. Yeah. It's like basically he put it all on the Contractor Coalition. I want to talk to him more to hear more of his story. And he came, I don't know if it was in Minneapolis or it doesn't matter, Boston, doesn't matter which one he came to. And then within 6 months of that investment, he said, I've got the best contract I've ever got. Yeah. I've turned all my finances around. Like, I don't know if you were listening to that. And I was just like, wow.
It's just so hard. Like, it's so hard. And I tell people a lot, it's almost as though you have to hit rock bottom to be able to start working your way up. And like that is a life lesson that I feel is applicable to business. And it's like, it's only gonna get better when it's gotten so bad that you can't tolerate it anymore. And it's a shame that it has to get to that point, but there's so much opportunity, and like, there's so much room for progress and so much information here, and so many opportunities just to solve the problems that the problems that you're facing in business and life are not unique to you. Right. They're not unique to the construction industry. They're not unique to remodeling, to building, to East Coast, West Coast. Like, we are all experiencing this. And some of us have experienced it sooner, some of us have experienced it worse, but we're here to help you navigate that experience, work your way through that, and come out on top so that you're not looking back, and to be able to make more money, hopefully work less. Like, whatever your program is in life, if it's grow your business, scale your business, do that. If it's to have weekends off to spend it with your kids, do that. If it's just to get a better client base, like, we're here to provide you with a path toward that. And I think that that's absolutely amazing for these people who can do this. But unfortunately, a lot of times, yeah, we have to get to a really dark place before we're ready to be like, I can't do it. I tried. Like, at this point, I'm giving everything up. Somebody's got to come throw me a life preserver. And we serve as that life preserver for a lot of people, but I would love to come in before you're absolutely sinking. Like, maybe just come to us while you're treading water still, instead of like literally on your last breath. But yeah, it's an opportunity to help anyone and everyone just get to where they want to be in life and business. And that's different for everyone. What you want is different than what I want.
There was a gentleman last night chatting with him, and he had shared that he said the free fall is scarier than the rock bottom.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, when I hit rock bottom, he said he lost everything in '08. Had hundreds of lots in development, cashed out of everything, had nothing. He said it took 3 years to just be, he said I didn't only not take any job I could get, I took any job I could get on any single thing, like outside construction, anything to make ends meet. And he goes, now it's been a decade, and he's like, I don't want to go back there, but he's like, so he's just in a much better place. But he said, I hope you're willing to share your story, because I think it would be really impactful, having hit rock bottom, to let people know that, like, it's not the end. Like Nick talks about it all the time with White Oak, and it's his story to share. But like, whatever happens, like the fear of failure is worse than failure itself. And so, like, failure is like, most successful people I know have failed. And I think this. I do this little life. What do I call it right now? Losers are winners. To become a winner, you sort of have to lose.
Sure.
And I love hearing people's, story of basically it's going. So, well, you and I could talk forever. Thanks for
Appreciate it.
sharing your story. Appreciate it, buddy. If you're interested in attending the Contractor Coalition in the future, please head to contractorcoalitionsummit.com or follow us on Instagram to find out more.